100 years old and ready to vote. A longtime librarian from D.C. has helped select a president in every election since the 23rd Amendment to the Constitution gave city residents the right to vote in presidential elections. Only on 7, Annalisa Gale explains how history and our current climate will shape Lottie Wright's decision.
Thank you for including me.
This weekend, Lottie Mae Thomas Wright celebrated her 100th birthday via Zoom with well wishes from her children and grandkids.
Happy birthday, Grandma.
God bless you, Lottie. You're beautiful. Happy birthday from us.
Wright, who has 7 sons, has seen a lot in her lifetime. She overcame many obstacles, even after losing a leg and an arm at 8 years old in a train accident at a rail yard. But despite the challenges, her son says she dedicated her life to helping her community. She served as a D.C. librarian for 20 years and used her voice when needed.
What we know is that there have been 20 presidential elections since she was old enough to vote.
And since then, she really missed the opportunity to vote in an election.
He remembers and lived in the Washington, D.C. where there was no home rule.
Carl says she even remembers the time when D.C. residents were allowed to vote in a presidential election for the first time, which was the year 1964. Now she's getting ready to cast another vote. Amid the pandemic, she's voting by mail.
I would like to see someone be the President of the United States who is a good person, not just in religion, but in understanding of the kind of people that God would have on his earth.
As the wife of a conference clerk at the Supreme Court, her son says she always stressed the importance of civic responsibility and the privilege that should be appreciated at any age, no matter the roadblocks.
She stood for and lived out what's possible, and particularly for African-American women.
To the election now, where after yesterday's website crash, a judge has extended Virginia's voter registration deadline to 11:59 p.m. tomorrow. And take a look at this. ABC 7 cameras at locations throughout Fairfax County finding long lines as 13 new voting centers open for the first time. ABC 7 Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Tim Barber is at the McLean early voting site. And Tim, the site closes in about an hour, but by the judge of that crowd size behind you, it looks like folks are still going to be lined up well past that.
The line has been long all day. In fact, we were told to get out here long before they opened up at 1 o'clock so we could find a good parking spot out here, but we still had to park down the street.
I want the right guy to win, so I just have been really grateful that there is the possibility of a new president.
Beverly Groom was the first voter in line at the McLean Governmental Center, one of 13 early voting locations that just opened in Fairfax County.
This is a typical location. What's new is the expression of interest.
For weeks, the only place Fairfax County residents could vote in person was at the Government Center, where the pandemic created record-breaking lines. So 7 on Your Side asked election officials why the additional sites were not opened earlier.
It's a very complex situation, arranging for staffing and access to the facilities.
County officials tell us they've had nearly 6,300 new online voter registrations since Saturday alone. But last night, construction crews in Chester, Virginia, accidentally cut a cable that shut down the Commonwealth's election website the night of the voting registration deadline.
My team and I went to work yesterday afternoon, literally worked around the evening and into the early morning hours.
This morning, a judge granted an extension until tomorrow at midnight.
Was there a playbook for this? What exactly did you argue in court?
In this election season, there have been a lot of curveballs where there isn't a playbook really. In court, we explained the circumstances, and I think most people would recognize that it wasn't Virginia voters' fault that the online portal went down, and it was important to get that time back.
And on Saturday, a 14th location opens up at Great Falls Library. Reporting live in Fairfax County, Tim Barber, ABC 7 News.
Tim, thanks. 7's on your side with the key dates you need to know. The first is that new voter registration deadline in Virginia. As we mentioned, 11:59 p.m. tomorrow is that new deadline. Early voting starts in Maryland October 26th. And remember, you can register and vote at the same time during early voting. In D.C., early voting starts October 27th. The ABC 7 team has compiled all the key information on early voting, whether by mail or in person. Just go to WJLA.com/vote.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and as you can see, our team is wearing pink today because it's also National Mammography Day. 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime, but this year, a lot of the efforts to draw attention to prevention, screenings, and finding a cure are on hold because of coronavirus. Joining me right now to talk about how the American Cancer Society is making strides against breast cancer is Corinne Bombowski. Corinne, great to have you here with us this morning. Now, making strides is typically a really big event with thousands gathering to walk around the tidal basin. Obviously, that can't happen this year. So what will this year look like?
Sure. So as you mentioned, we typically gather in Washington, D.C. and do a walk around the tidal basin. That's kind of been our home base for the last few years at least. But this year we're going virtual. Cancer patients are at the forefront of our mission, so keeping them safe is absolutely our #1 priority. So we are going to be hosting a week-long virtual event, which is really exciting. We're going to kick that off on Saturday, October 24th. So in about a week, and then every day we'll be releasing videos on our social media platforms, different themed videos like a Survivor Sunday segment where we're going to be creating a Survivor tribute video. We're going to share why people make strides. We're going to have musical performers. We're going to have competitions. It's really exciting, and yeah, we're making the best of what we can considering we have to go virtual this year.
Yeah. So how is this pandemic changing the fight against other illnesses like breast cancer?
Sure. So obviously, as an organization, it has been a tough year for the American Cancer Society. We have experienced a $200 million loss in funding this year just due to COVID alone. We kind of saw those numbers playing out, which is resulting in one of the staggering statistics that I think is important to share, but is sometimes difficult to share, is that is actually causing us a 50% reduction in funding for research. So without research, we really, we can't help cancer patients. So we want to continue to push forward and continue to, find ways that we can get donations and have people come out to our virtual event and raise funds so that, we can continue our life-saving mission here at the American Cancer.
Absolutely. Now, we know that the key to getting your breast cancer treatment is obviously the early detection. The earlier you catch it, the better. So how much of a concern are these missed screenings?
So the missed screenings are a very large concern. As of March 2020, we were seeing over around or over 89% of people delaying routine cancer screenings. So that's cancer screenings for breast, for colon, for these types of cancers that, as you mentioned, are so important to detect early. So COVID has played a large role in that. So we're really encouraging people to continue to get their mammograms, to continue to go get their routine cancer screenings. There are safe and effective ways to do it. So there's no need to, be fearful of it. It's definitely important for you to continue that, especially with it being mammography.
Yes. Last question for you. And what
Sure.
can our viewers do to help you all out?
Yeah, of course. So if you would like to either join our virtual event or make a donation, you can visit www.makingstrideswalk.org/Washington, D.C. and join us. It's going to be a great week. And yeah, we hope to see you there.
Corinne, thank you so much for your time this morning. Also, do those self-exams. Those are crucial. Thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your day.